This is Dale Matthews. On August 28th, Keith Heck made a big mistake when he referred to county workers as little moles that sneak around and perform lesser services. It was clear as day. And if that wasn't bad enough, ignoring the advice that Simon Hare would later offer, which is to keep quiet from now on, Heck decided to challenge the fidelity of the recording. Here is his version with my notes, followed by his message again with no annotations, to be perfectly fair.
Yesterday, I sent out to all of the department heads the following email, and with a CC to Julian Silva, who is the HouseMe coordinator. He represents the HouseMe workers.
Heck used his office and county resources to warn all department heads that Dale Matthews, he mentioned me by name, is a liar.
I sent this and followed. It says, I was just made aware of the pending damage that is endeavoring to be made by Mr. Dale Matthews over his highly edited video of my comments made at the BCC discussion meeting on last Thursday.
He was just made aware? Yes, that morning I made him aware of what he said. I am the one that's doing pending damage? Here's the big one. Keith Heck bases his entire objection on what he calls a highly edited video. Just exactly where are the edits that put words into his mouth? Between little and moles? Between lesser and services? Keith Heck has based his reputation on edits. To his words, little moles that sneak around. It's only 5 words. Where do the edits go?
What role did the internal services, did that play in this discussion of this internal IT?
IT is part of the internal service fund, yes.
No, but I mean as far as I'm not trying to demean anything, but the lesser services that are those little moles that sneak around and what role did the internal services, did that play in this discussion of this internal IT?
IT is part of the internal service fund, yes.
No, but I mean as far as I'm not trying to demean anything, but the lesser services that are those little moles that sneak around and
that IT provides, just the standard support type work that they do.
Is that all incorporated under this picture of having a
Correct.
IT director?
Correct.
And finally on this point, if Mr. Heck is right, and his remarks about little moles have been truly edited, highly edited, why does the county recording of this same meeting match precisely, word for word, with our recording? There are no edits. Why is he trying to tell you this?
I did attempt to ignore his scurrilous remarks made at this morning's WBS, but was, thankfully, made aware that Mr. Matthews' efforts are having his intended effect, causing confusion.
Mr. Heck says he attempted to ignore my scurrilous remarks. Scurrilous means foul-mouthed, obscene, potty-mouth. Check the video from Wednesday, September 3rd.
On Thursday, at the administration meeting in the little back room, the commissioners were talking about IT services and services from your county workers. And Keith Heck characterized county workers as, I'll say this slowly so it's clear, little moles that he's laughing. Why are you laughing? He characterized them as little moles that sneak around and do lesser services. And you're laughing again. Why is this funny to you, sir?
I think ignorance is humorous.
It is humorous, but it's not mine.
Why would Keith Heck accuse anyone of cursing and using coarse expletives? Just on this, is Mr. Heck being honest, causing confusion?
Please, would you make your staff aware that Mr. Matthews' edited video took my comments and made what I had intended as a compliment into something insulting?
The only way to make your staff aware is on county time. This commissioner wants the department heads to save his reputation by telling all employees that his remarks were edited and they made a compliment into something insulting. First, a little mole is not a compliment. Sneaks around is not a compliment. Performing lesser services is sure not a compliment.
I have nothing but the highest regard for all of the county's employees and the efforts, oftentimes sacrificial, being made by them.
Keith Heck has referred to citizens as slopehead, ass, asinine, and inane, which means silly, stupid, and pointless. To be called by Mr. Heck ludicrous is not very nice. How would you like to be called a lying maggot at a public meeting on TV? Why aren't more people coming to these meetings? Asked the commissioners. Quote, because of the questions you ask, I pity you, was one of the answers. I pity you as well, said Vice Chairman Heck. Keep your mouth shut. It's just so childish, he said. It's pathetic. Is this normal? Do you think it is?
My remarks, which were twisted, reflected upon how the IT employees, and that was the topic of our conversation, oftentimes are not the front-line, visually noticeable folks.
Twisted. Keith Heck said it. I recorded it. You've seen it. Where does this twisting occur?
But instead are like the, quote, moles that are hard at work and, quote, accomplishing their tasks.
No one believes this is a compliment. The lesser services that are those little moles that sneak around? Lesser services? Little moles? Sneak around? These are not compliments. This is a really bad attempt at damage control.
Again, the discussion was related to IT workers and the valuable task they perform to make everything else work.
Valuable tasks by sneaking around.
I render my apology for allowing my comments to be so easily misrepresented.
An apology? No, not really. Misrepresentation is just a playback of what he said.
But we can be assured that I had no thoughts at all of how such an individual as Mr. Matthews could use, abuse, and misapply my comments.
I mentioned again, by name, in an official government email. Use, abuse, and misapply is just a playback of what he said.
If there is any other step that employees believe that I might make to assure them of my real regard for their fine and supportive labor during these especially trying times, please do let me know.
More government time and payroll spent defending Keith Heck's personal regard for himself, defending the indefensible.
Thank you for making all of your fine staff aware of this email as soon as possible.
The department heads are instructed to do what?
That was said yesterday.
And now, to be absolutely fair and square, here is Keith Heck's reading of his own email without annotations.
Yesterday, I sent out to all of the department heads the following email, and with a CC to Julian Silva, who is the HFSME coordinator. He represents the HFSME workers. I sent this and following. It says, I was just made aware of the pending damage that is endeavoring to be made by Mr. Dale Matthews over his highly edited video of my comments made at the BCC discussion meeting on last Thursday. I did attempt to ignore his scurrilous remarks made at this morning's WBS, but was, thankfully, made aware that Mr. Matthews' efforts are having his intended effect, causing confusion. Please, would you make your staff aware that Mr. Matthews' edited video took my comments and made what I had intended as a compliment into something insulting. I have nothing but the highest regard for all of the county's employees and the efforts, oftentimes sacrificial, being made by them. My remarks, which were twisted, reflected upon how the IT employees, and that was the topic of our conversation, oftentimes are not the front-line, visually noticeable folks, but instead are like the, quote, moles that are hard at work and, accomplishing their tasks. Again, the discussion was related to IT workers and the invaluable task they perform to make everything else work. I render my apology for allowing my comments to be so easily misrepresented, but we can be assured that I had no thoughts at all of how such an individual as Mr. Matthews could use, abuse, and misapply my comments. If there is any other step that employees believe that I might make to assure them of my real regard for their fine and supportive labor during these especially trying times, please do let me know. Thank you for making all of your fine staff aware of this email as soon as possible. That was sent out yesterday.
Dale Matthews, Grants Pass. 2 weeks ago, Keith Heck referred to some county workers as little moles that sneak around. And Cheryl Walker agreed with him. She said, mole is probably a very apt description. That's nice. The same day that I mentioned this, Keith Heck sent out an email as a sitting commissioner to all the department heads in the county, urging them to defend his honesty and pointing out that the video that I made in the little back room, aptly named, was highly edited, and that essentially I was putting words in his mouth, and he asked county employees to spend county time and county payroll in explaining to their workers that Keith Heck is the aggrieved party here, and that I had simply, I guess, inserted words into his mouth, highly edited. There are 5 words that were important in that entire meeting. Little moles that sneak around. So, Mr. Heck, where did the cuts happen? Even a single cut between what? Little and moles? Between sneak and around? Highly edited usually indicates more than one edit, more than one cut. But you're not even looking at me. Can't even be that honorable to even look up and see that you're being addressed. Well, I tell you what, let's make it easy on you. All you need to do is just pick 2 words, even a single cut between 2 words, and I'm going to make it even better for you. There's 5 words. Here is $5,000, Mr. Heck. Oh, that made you look up. $5,000. All you need to do to retain any semblance of your supposed honesty is to point out where the cut happened. There's 5 words. Just point out where the cut happened. And this $5,000 for 5 words is yours right now. Someone's going to walk out of this room looking honest. Someone's going to walk out of this room looking like a big fat liar. There were no edits. The only thing that I did is nobody wants to watch an hour-and-a-half meeting. I condensed it down to just your discussion. All you need to do is just point it out.
Your time is up, Mr. Matthews.